there's a bait and switch going on with what we as fans want, and that's information. And a quarterback competition keeps us at the edge of wanting information. But wanting information about a quarterback competition also diverts your focus. And what it does is it keeps you paying attention to the continuous drip, to watch. It's almost like watching paint dry, where you can't.
Trey started. Sam started. Trey started. Like, okay, doesn't matter.
And it's decision fatigue. It's way too much information that we think we can handle. And in the age of content, none of us know when we're getting too much information, especially as fans, because we get so little of it. I believe that. Let me just break down what they're trying to say as a quarterback competition. A quarterback competition is when you have all parties involved prepared to compete at an equal level. We do not have that. Okay. No. What we have is we have a rookie. We have a third-year quarterback coming into his third year who we spent 3 first-round draft picks on. And we were explicitly told that this was not a Band-Aid. This was not an upgrade.
The future.
This was the future. This was a generational pick. Now we have another stock part that we picked up as in a quarterback
off the scrap heap.
In the seventh round. Okay. Yeah. And he came through and he saved us. All right.
Yep.
We showed how much faith that we had in this player by keeping our incumbent quarterback who was supposed to be gone. That's how much faith that we had in Brock before he actually saved our bacon. We got to give it to him. He saved our bacon. And now we have a retread. We have a retread young quarterback who has struggled with every team he has come in with. And now he is learning the system on the fly. Okay.
Correct.
That is the situation. Okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like this quarterback competition is diverting us away from the real questions and the real conversation, which is, Kyle.
Yeah.
What have you done thus far with the quarterback who you spent 3 first-round picks on?
Right.
And where is he in comparison to starting today on week 1 versus when you got him hurt in week 2? Okay. Right. It's time for the fans to realize that we are not at the service of the 49ers. We are in a partnership with the 49ers. They do not play if we do not watch. We fill the seats. We watch the games. We click on the ads. We buy the foam fingers. Right now, our organization got fronted by our partner, our head coach, and we're trying to reach a goal. Our partner told us, hey, we're coming up on this goal and we're not necessarily getting over the hump.
Right.
Let's, instead of us trying to simply meet the goal, let's overshoot the goal and let's future-proof our competition. This is going to carry us for years to come. So he got with the owners and they spent assets ahead to get them in the position to get this part. Now, we ingested this equipment into our organization, okay? And this equipment did not have in-house subject matter experts to calibrate it correctly. Yeah. We need to admit that. We did not have in-house development, and along the way, we brute forced this equipment and we broke it multiple times, okay? And now that we're coming into our third year, this equipment has come in with its own calibration. Now it can be utilized the right way. But along the way, we had a stock part that we picked up along with the acquisition. And that stock part got us across the finish line.
Yeah.
Real
quick. We had this conversation on the phone yesterday. You're essentially laying out like a racing analogy. And it's great. And you're talking about a quarterback as like the key piece in a part. And you're talking about like these companies, Lamborghini, Ferrari, that are these competing
F1 companies, these are highly tuned machines that all can drive 300 miles an hour. Okay.
And so you're trying to chase tenths of a second.
Tenths of a second.
Yeah.
Whole teams dedicate entire years and off seasons to tenths of a second.
And that's what the Niners are trying to do, essentially, to get over the hump. Like, you've been second, you've been third, you've been fourth. Yeah.
That's what placing is all about. And we need to elevate the conversation and keep the focus on what is truly going to get us, not for one time to place,
Right.
But this is supposed to catapult us to who we once were. Okay.
Yeah.
Only bad teams would cling to 8 games. Yeah. That's what bad teams do. All right. I would expect
desperate, bad, low standards, all of it.
I would expect the Commanders to catch flash in the pan and get an 8-game win season, and then for them to bicker over who's going to do the quarterback situation. Right. That's for them. That's for the Browns. That's for the Texans.
The Eagles wouldn't do that.
That's not for us.
Dude, the Eagles won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, and they were like, "Thanks, Nick, but we see you for who you are."
Thank you, but we have a standard.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
And we're not going to get caught up in the moment. We're not going to be emotionally hijacked. And the
it
problem
was their first championship ever, and they were like, "Thanks, Nick. Great. Well, I mean, we'll build you a statue or something, but come on,
right?
You're not our starting quarterback."
Let's stick to the scenario.
Yeah.
We have a stock engine or a stock part that got us to the same level of success than we did the last time. But let's be honest, we're scared shitless that we even made it. Okay. Yep. And along the way, that part broke. Yep. Okay. So now we're back inside the garage and we have 2 parts. We have the exceptional part that we spent all of this investment on that we have to admit that we broke, that we had calibration issues with, but this is the original plan. This is what we spent the money on.
There was nothing wrong with the part. It was something wrong with us. We didn't have the tools to use the part. Like, we didn't know how to use the part. It was beyond us.
Beyond us.
It was beyond us. Yeah.
So much so that there was somebody who actually helped that is beyond us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Jeff Christensen. So we got to own that. All right.
We had to outsource. It's Jeff fix this. Okay.
Come on.
Sure.
So now we're in a position where we're about to start our season again. Yeah. And what do we have one half of the garage saying, well, dude, we already embarrassed ourselves flatly by putting this part out there because everybody knows we're using this new part. So the expectations on us to win are through the roof now. We have no excuse. But we do get to show off the ingenuity and the resourcefulness of our garage if we get back on the court, if we get back on the track with our stock part. Because everybody
that we got from Amazon.
We're playing with one hand behind our back, all right?
Right.
But
it's so impressive.
The smartest man in the room says, now listen, the one thing you're missing is that although we don't know the duration of our expensive part, our expensive equipment, we do know that this stock engine broke in half of a season.
Yep.
Okay? So are we going to go back and try to do an entire season and double down on what we just did? And we know that this stock part failed on it broke. So,
it's repaired. It's a repaired stock part. You know what I'm saying? It had surgery. It could break again quicker.
And then we got everybody over here talking about how great gas mileage it gets and how much, how more efficient it was.
How efficient, how cheap it is. How you can spend on other parts because you're not spending on this part.
We can get new spoilers. We can get our brand new tires.
We can get spinners. The car stops and the wheels keep spinning. Yeah. That's amazing.
That's what we need. We can overpay on our headlights that barely
We can get a goldfish in the middle of the console.
Come on. Oh,
we can take it to exhibit.
We can get the brand new tinted windows that ask for a trade in the middle of the off season and come back and show up out of shape. We can overpay for all of this stuff, or we can have this awesome chassis that's once in a lifetime that we know has been playing for almost 15 years and is going to retire at any minute. Yeah. So we need to understand that Super Bowl teams that are good don't have quarterback competitions at the beginning of the season.
No.
It does not work that way.
No. Okay?
So let me tell you what Kyle Shanahan is signing up for by attaching himself to a franchise quarterback, okay? Mm-hmm. Tom Landry and Roger Staubach, 11 years. Mm-hmm. Bill Walsh and Joe Montana, 10 years. Don Shula and Don Marino, 11 years. Tony Dungy and Peyton Manning, 7 years. Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger, 11 years. Okay, out of Tom Landry and Roger Staubach, 2 Super Bowls. Bill and Joe, 4 Super Bowls. Don Shula and Marina, none. Tony Dungy and Peyton, 1. Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger, 1. What we are signing up for is a journey to get 1 to 2 Super Bowls and maybe get some appearances. But we're sitting here thinking that we got the best Super Bowl roster because we've got this beautiful window. That ain't it.
Yeah.
That ain't it. Okay? Yeah. So let's go on the Brock Purdy side of things. Okay? Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it their way, Grant. All right? So with Brock Purdy, he would be a second-year starting quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. Out of the history of the NFL, right? Yep. We're in the NFL, correct? Out of the history of the NFL, there are 6 quarterbacks to go to the Super Bowl in their second year, okay? Dan Marino, Kurt Warner, Tom Brady, Colin Kaepernick, Russell Wilson, and Ben Roethlisberger. Out of those 6, 3 made it to the Super Bowl, okay? And 1. Yeah. I mean, 3 won the Super Bowl. Okay,
Wilson, Roethlisberger, and Brady.
Russell, Roethlisberger, and Brady. Okay? Yeah. All of the quarterbacks that I named started week 1. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? They started week 1, except Colin Kaepernick. So let's stay there for a second. In 2012, Colin Kaepernick went to the Super Bowl as a second-year quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, correct? Mm-hmm. We played Baltimore in that game. Can't forget, right?
Yep.
In that season, okay, let me tell you how a head coach lynches his legacy to his quarterback. This is how you double down. This is how you buy in on a quarterback, okay? And you don't start a fake quarterback competition so you can have distance. One would think that Colin Kaepernick ended up starting in I believe that was week 8 after their bye, okay? Mm-hmm. After Colin Kaepernick started, one would say, if you would think about it, man, the Niners must have been struggling. No, they were 6-2. The Niners were 6-2. Let me tell you what had to be going through Jim Harbaugh's mind as a coach who really wants to win. Week 1, we saw Green Bay. We won that game. All right. We won 30-23. Okay. But who did we see in that game? We saw A-Rod in that game. Mm-hmm. A-Rod threw for 303 yards. Alex Smith threw for 211 yards. Okay. Mm-hmm. Week 2, we saw Detroit in that game. We saw Matt Stafford. We won 27-19. Matt Stafford threw for 320 yards. Alex Smith threw for 226 yards in a win. Yep. Okay. Week 3, we lost to Minnesota.
That's right, Christian Ponder.
And we lost to Christian Ponder, okay?
Right. Yeah.
And Alex Smith threw for 226 yards, and Christian Ponder threw for 320 yards. You see what happens when you go for the median? You see what happens? All right, let's keep going. Maybe that was an anomaly. Week 4, we see the Jets. We beat their ass 34-0, okay?
Oh, yeah.
We see Mark Sanchez. And even in Mark Sanchez's game, the Christian Ponder game was 204 to 198. Alex Smith threw for 204 yards. Christian Ponder threw for only 198, and we lost that game. Okay? The defense did their job. We lost that game. Okay? Mm-hmm. Week 4, we see Mark Sanchez. We win that game. Alex Smith throws for 143. Mark Sanchez barely gets a buck, 103. Week 5, we see the Bills. We see Ryan Fitzpatrick. This is Alex Smith's best game. He throws for 303 yards. We win 45-3. All right. Mm-hmm. The Giants, we lost.
That was the one. That was alarming because Alex Smith had flopped against the Giants in the NFC Championship game just a few months before then.
Give me context, Iggy.
Yeah, so like they lost again, and that team faded. But at that point, the Niners didn't know that the Giants were going to fade, and I think they thought, man, we're going to see them again in the playoffs, and Alex Smith can't beat them. He can't beat him. He can't beat him.
And
so that's where they were at.
Eli Manning throwing 193 yards. Okay,
right.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is what we're talking about. Tenths of a second. Okay.
Yeah.
This is tenths of a second thinking.
Then a few weeks later, I think they put up like 12 or 13 points against Seattle in a win. That was the end of that was close to the end for Alex right there.
Yes. And 13-6, we beat Seattle.
13-6. Yeah. Yeah.
We beat Seattle. Russell
At
Wilson
home.
only put up 122. Alex Smith put up 140.
And that was like that was Russell Wilson's like 7th start or something. He really improved.
He was amazing,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then this is the one. We win 24-3 against Arizona, right?
Right. And I think Alex Smith was like 17 of 18 or something like that. It was crazy.
18 for 19.
18 for 19. Yeah.
Right.
He was the player of the week. Was he not the NFC player of the week? I think he was. Yeah.
232 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0
Randy
picks.
Moss down the left. I remember. Yep.
One of his best games.
Yeah, he was locked in. Yeah.
However, John Skelton was 32 for 52 for 290. Okay?
Yeah.
And we won that game. Now, this is what tenths of a second thinking is. We had a bye week. And Coach Harbaugh could have sat back and said, we're 6-2. Got a good defense. Fans are happy. Everything's good. We got Colin here, but I really don't know what this kid is going to do in the raw. And if he fails, I got to own it, right?
Yeah.
What does he do? He starts Colin.
Well, what happens is Alex Smith got hurt. Alex Smith started against the Rams. He got concussed. Colin comes in and plays all right, and Jim Harbaugh used the opportunity to start Colin.
Thank you. Use the opportunity.
That's what happened.
And then it was in a tie game, 24-24.
It was a tie game.
Yeah, Colin went for like 11 for 17 for like 120 or something.
He was cool. But a lot of people thought Alex Smith was coming back the next week, and I think Harbaugh, I think even Alex Smith thought he was coming back the next week, and Harbaugh was like, no, you're not ready. At the last minute, and he started Colin, and everyone thought he was going to come out with a real conservative game plan against the Bears, run. It was 20-yard throw, 20-yard throw, 20-yard throw, and Harbaugh made his point, and Kaepernick made his point right there. Like, the offense is different now.
Yeah.
It's different now.
I feel like out of all of the things that disturbs me about what the organization is trying to tell us is that they're trying to get us to believe something that has rarely been done.
Yep.
It has rarely succeeded. And what's hilarious is that God don't like ugly. So we found the 2012 season of where the coach who was here doubled down on his guy and played him.
Yep.
So the only anomalies that we really should be paying attention to is 2012, where we did the right thing. Yeah. And we had tenth of a second thinking. So go.
And to your point, like you don't get to mortgage the future for a player and then get him injured and then pivot away from him because you found like the younger, cheaper version of the guy you were pivoting away from originally. Like you just got Jimmy Garoppolo Jr.
And then try to sell it as if
you can't do that.
All got an equal opportunity to succeed. Yeah, we're all going to see. Well, this is the thing. I asked the question yesterday on the show. Let's do it. Let's do it the Brock way. Let's do it John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan's way. Let's do it their way. Brock starts week 1. How long is his leash if he starts to struggle?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
How long is that leash? All right. Because however long that leash is how much faith they had in those 8 games that he played.
Right.
All right. And another thing, the players don't know what's going on with quarterback. Okay. They don't know. All right. They're not in on it. They have a feel. The real person, and that's another thing. We're waiting on what the players don't know. Kyle should know.
Right.
The coaching staff should know.
Also, like if they have this quarterback competition and then just throw Brock Purdy out there week 1, you're really saying to both Trey and Sam, like, you guys both lost. Like, we would rather play Brock Purdy with very little preparation than either one of you. So, okay, that's fine. And you go all in with Brock. What if he hasn't shown he can play a full season? What if he gets hurt again and he misses time? And now you got to go back to one of those quarterbacks that you basically said you don't trust. I mean, they're going to have less confidence than they had now.
And I agree, Grant. And what's crazy about this is that if we're going low-hanging fruit, right? If we're having the discussion they want us to have, it's tribal. It's Sam versus Trey versus Ian Rappaport said this versus this guy said that.
Pick your side.
It's a soup of mess, all right? It's not a high-level argument. It's not a good conversation. But for those of people who are on the Brock side, how much do you care about the kid do you want him to play week 1 and get hurt again? Right? Because ultimately, we all want the same thing. I haven't heard anybody talk about Brock Purdy in a 1-year capacity. The people that like Brock Purdy want him to be here for the long haul.
Right.
Okay? And all I'm saying is that even if that is the side of the coin that you fall on, you don't want him out there week 1. Yeah. And what they're doing is disingenuous.
Well, that's why I don't think he's going to be out there week 1. I feel like they're not really telling us the truth. I mean, Brian Greasy even said yesterday, like, there's no reason to rush this, which I think that's how they feel. Like, they can project confidence and say, oh, he's ahead of schedule, he's doing great, but at the same time, there's no reason to rush it.